All right, so I didn't read the instructions on the pump yet, but just to show you some of the things I was speaking of, it's 11.7, I believe, in the code. This is 12.14. I think it's 11.7. Look at that. And they say the mine is the first thing to go. How the hell? You know, I remember that? 7-Eleven. Now, reading the code, 7-Eleven store backwards is 11.7. That's how I remember the code for ejectors. So there you go. Seal cover. There's your check valve. There's your full port. There's your full port shut-off valve, check valve, seal cover. Tells you here that the vents can go through roof or combine with other vents. Now, this is true for a gravity. So what happened, let me show you what happened. And now, again, this is an older code book, but it hasn't changed really in practice. Those three little words, local administrative authority. So you'll see things in code, and they're starting to phase it out. I think I did a video on that, where they're phasing out local administrative authority as we move towards international. You might still see it. Here it is again. There it is. Authority having jurisdiction, local administrative authority. So that means it's in the code, but you can get in a township where they go, well, we don't want you to tie the vent for the sub pump, a sewer ejector, or this one's called a sewer pump ejector. We don't want you to tie it into the vent in the building. And, you know, I've seen guys, again, big mistake, get in an argument with the inspector and go, well, the code says we can do it. But yeah, when it gets down to that particular township, where we're at, the last time I checked, it was 200 and, it's probably changed, 234 municipalities in the garden. So imagine that's 234 places that could not necessarily make up their own rules, but more or less, yeah. So sewage ejector, sewage pump. I'm just looking at different words here. But I wanted to show you this. Now, here's what happened. Here it is, 11.7.7, pneumatic ejectors. Vents from pneumatic ejectors shall be carried separately, there's the word, to open air as the vent determines in accordance with section 12.14.2. All right? So it tells you here about gallons per minute minimum. That's the ability of the ejector to move sewage. So if you go to 12.14, and I'm betting at 12.14, they'll tell you about pressure and atmospheric pressure. Let's see. Pressure release vent, pneumatic sewer ejector. Okay, so the vent separate, there it is, from any gravity system vents. So that means you have to go to the roof. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. All the way to the roof. And it says, such pressure release vents will be of sufficient size to reduce the ejector tank to atmosphere in 10 seconds, but shall not be less than 1.25 inches in pipe size. So there's another surprise for you. You could actually run 1.5 inch vent off of these. I always use 2. Depends on if the chart and the length of the, you get that off 12.14 here, off the chart. Tells you how far you can go with the size and all that good stuff. So here's a pump at 60 GPM, and a 2-inch vent, you can go 270 feet. Now, what house has 270 feet from the ground? Well, multi-level building. Be a big building, though, 270 feet, 10 feet of floors, that's 27 floors. But I just wanted to show you the fact that of the separate. So what happened is someone put a pneumatic ejector, so I hear the story goes, but you guys or gals, put in the comments what you've had dealt with or heard in your jurisdiction or in your state. They put a pneumatic sewer ejector in, tied it into the existing building's venting. Of course, it wasn't a master plumber because they would have read it in the code. Most likely it was some Yahoo. And when that thing went off, it either blew the vent or it actually blows trap seals. I've seen that happen with pneumatics if you don't vent them to the roof by themselves. And then the customer, the person goes away, gets paid, and then the customer, the person owning the house, starts smelling sewage. Or they'll say, wow, in a certain part of my house, I smell sewage all the time. And I've corrected a lot of these where you go in and it's like, yeah, somebody didn't vent it right. So someone didn't panic, and a lot of municipalities in the garden where I'm at said, okay, to hell with it. If you put in a sewer ejector, you better run that vent to the roof and don't touch what's in. And that was their way of resolving an issue. It's like, the sledgehammer for the fly type of deal. So if anybody put a sewer ejector in, it got vented to the roof by itself, away went the problem. Because if it was inspected, you wouldn't blow trap seals. However, if you go back to the code, which is what I always try to do, it specifically tells you it's for pneumatic. So, all right, this is the sewage ejector series. See you on the next one.